Muri kampasi y'Ebombo Kalule neye Kabalagala tubona bweraliikirivu bwonna olw'omusingi okutambuzibwa ebyenjigiriza n'ensoma y'abayizi ey'omulembe mu masomero gaffe gano gonna tusomesa arts ne sciences okuviira ddala ku siniya esooka okutuuka ku siniya ey'omukaaga nga tusomesa abaana okuviira ddala ku mutendero gwa kindergarten okutuuka ku kibiina eky'omusanvu. Tulina abasomesa abakugu mu kubangula abaana n'okubateekateeka ebibiina abaana mwe basomera eby'omulembe omuli buli kimu ekikwata ku ebyo bye basoma, ebisuula ebyazimbibwa obulungi, ebigazi ate nga biyonjo. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubire ku nnamba z'essimu ez'owammanga.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you again for tuning in for the BBSKATI, and we are back for Somera Muddiiro program. So we are going to go on with our lessons. We are going to move on to mathematics as we have been doing. Let us pray before we start. Lord, we thank you for this time. We thank you for the life you have given unto us. As you're going to have this lesson, may you guide us, may your Spirit guide us, that you understand everything that you're going to study. We pray that believing and trusting. In Jesus' my name, amen. Yes, so we are going to continue with our mathematics. And we have been doing a series of lessons. You know, sometimes I can't still forget to thank you so much, you know, for the feedback and all the things that you are doing. So I believe most of us, all those students who are at home, those who went back to school, we have benefited from these lessons, which is good. So still thank you for doing the questions, and some of you are sending the work. I feel that it is good that we are progressing. There's a change on how we were before and how we are now in mathematics. So every time we are here to learn something new, to get some other concepts in the subjects of mathematics. And even as we keep on BBSKATI and other subjects, so we'll be okay, because also they are covered. Now, we have been doing vectors, and it's good that even those in senior 3, there are those who say the topic in senior 2, so they're really enjoying the vectors. And I want us to do more numbers today, because I wanted us to complete the matrices, but I think this will be the next week. We're going to do more numbers on vectors. We see some few diagrams on vectors. But I'm so happy that even where we are right now, most of you could do numbers, send them, numbers in the question bank. Some people are in senior 3, some are in senior 2, and they are trying these numbers because they have been following, which is so good. So we are going to do more numbers. Then I believe in the other topic, as if we start it together, it will be so nice. And every time when they bring these things, we'll be able to answer them. So we are going to do more questions on the vectors. And there are questions that we had, which we had posted there. We are going to put them. We had remains only one question, that was number 7. So we are going to do it. We talked about the vector diagrams so that they can give us the vector diagrams, but again, sometimes they will give it to you in words. Like when we look at number 7, because the same we had worked out number 6. So we look at number 7, they are giving us, even number 6, the same thing happened. They are giving us these things, but in words. So when they give you words like this, then you have to do the diagram on your own. Then you do the same thing that we could do if you are given a diagram. For example, in number 7, they're saying in triangle OAB, so they're giving you a triangle, and we say it's better for you to interpret the information and you do a diagram on your own. Sometimes the diagram will be drawn, but again, there are some cases where you have to draw it on your own. So they are giving us OA, and they're saying this is a triangle, OAB. Remember that O represents the origin. Also, we have OB, which is given as B. And they're saying a point L is on the side AB. The point L is on the side AB, and M on the side OB. So you have to interpret the question. So we are having a point L on the side AB. That means that on AB you have L, and M on the side OB. So on OB we have that point M. And they're saying OL and AM meet at S. OL and AM meet at S. So you have to draw the triangle, meet at S. AS, they're giving us some information that AS is equal to SM. That means that AS is equal to SM, is like almost the midpoint. You're going to see that. Then they're saying OS is 3 out of 4. of OL. OS is 3 out of 4 of OL. Then they want us to find, they are saying that given that OM equals X of B, and also they are telling us that AL is equal to Y. AL is Y, AB. That's what they are saying. And they're telling us to express the vectors. They're giving us some vectors there. They want us to express vectors AM and the OS. They want us vectors OM, OS in terms of AB, A and B. So we have AB and X. AB and X. And also they are telling us OL. They want us to find again OL and OS in terms of AB and Y. AB and Y. Then hence they want us to find the values of X and Y. So that's our question. And look at this question. It takes all the 12 marks, the section B number, and it's given 12 marks. So if you are doing a question like this, you have to interpret, you have to go on part by part, because it takes time. You have to be very careful for us to interpret, to get everything down on board, like how I'm trying to do here. So you have to interpret everything, move on step by step. And I say that the diagram must be done. It's going to help us to simplify a lot of things. And there are numbers that, you know, the diagram is going to simplify our work. There are some times where you can do a diagram, and those are short numbers. But if you have a bulky number, like in this case, do a diagram. You know, the question was big, but on the diagram, I'm making a summary of what looked to be big. And most students, they fear the words. We know we look at very many words, they know that this number is going to be hard. But it's not hard at all. That's why we need a diagram. So the diagram makes a summary of whatever has been given in the words. Look at it as very many sentences and so on. But when you draw this diagram, it simplifies everything. Everything now is simplified on diagram. So I can get what they want. So we are given that we have triangle OAB. You are seeing how I've drawn this. And they are saying that this OA here is given as A. Remember, direction matters also because these are vectors. They have both quantity and direction. So I have OA. And also I have this OB. Also you have to look at this OB. The direction matters a lot. I'm moving from O to B. Then after that, you're telling me that we have point L. Point L was on AB. Point L is on AB. This one here. So that's why I'm having my L. Also telling that we have point M, which is on OB. So I look at OB here. I get somewhere. I put there the M. They're telling me that if I get AM and OL, they meet at point S. That's why I'm putting my S at this point. That's the S. After that, the diagram is drawn. So we have to interpret some things of the ratios and so on. Telling me that AS equals SM. So it means that if AS the same as SM means that this S is going to be a midpoint of AM. So that means that this is 1, even this is 1, because AS equals to SM. The other way you can get the ratios is that still you can have AS, they're saying this equals SM. You can divide. You can divide by SM here, also by SM. So it means that you're going to have still AS as SM to SM is going to be equal to 1 out of 1. So you can express this in terms of ratios. It means that you'll be having your AS to SM will be equal to 1 to 1. That's why I'm saying that if this is AS and this is SM, then we have 1 to 1. Also, they're giving us that OS is 3/4 or 3 out of 4 of OL. So you come here, and this is my OS. They're saying is 3 out of 4 of the whole of OL. We need to interpret this clearly. So it means that the portion of OS is only 3 like this. So it means that of OL means that the other OL from here up here is going to have 4. So this one here, SL, is going to be 1. The other way of doing it is that you can still express it in terms of ratios. And you say this is going to be OS equals to 3 out of 4 OL. So I can divide by OL on both sides. if I want to have it in terms of ratios, divide by OL on both sides. So this will be out of OL, even here out of OL. So it means you'll be having OS out of OL to be equal to 3 out of 4. So this means that the ratio of OS to OL is going to be equal to 3 to 4. So when I put these ones here to represent their vector symbols, represent their elections, like that. Yeah. So that's what we're having. Now in this case, I'm interpreting that OS to OL is 3 to 4. So we're going to have 3 here, then OL is 4, means that this one SL is going to be 1. So we're just interpreting the question. And again, they're giving us some things there that OM is XOB and AL is YAB. And the first question is asking me to find AM. They're saying find AM in terms of A, B, and X. Why are they giving us? They're restricting us to terms A, B, and X simply because there are very many ways that you can get AM. But now in this case, they're restricting us to only in terms of A, B, and X. So it means that we are going to use the particular root. We are going to use something, a particular relationship given between OM and OB, something like that. So we are going to look at A and B in terms of X. That's what we are having. So let us look at how we can get AM. And you have very many alternatives. You have very many options. Remember, they have given me OM equals XOB. So it means that I have to use it if I have to express AM in terms of A, B, and X. So I have to use OM equals to X or B. Let us see. If I have to get AM, we have very many alternatives. One, I can move like this. I can say AM is going to be AO plus OM. That is an easy way. I'm just moving from AO to get up to OM. OM has been given to me, has been given as X or B. So we can use that. And there are very many options we are going to see. So we have AM, and we are saying this is going to be equal to A. So I'm just moving from here. It's going to be equal to AO plus OB. So we are going to write that. AM is going to be AO plus OM, like that. Other person, we talked about how we can use position vectors. That's what we are doing. But still I can say AM is the same thing as having OM minus OA. When we cover this, when we're looking at position vectors, it's the same as this, because I can still say that if you want, you can still say that my AM is going to be equal to OM minus OA. It is the same thing. We have been doing remaining numbers in the same category. And why I'm saying is the same, simply because AO is the same as negative OA. So it's the same. So this and this, the two of them, they are similar. There's nothing different. They are the same. So you can use any of your choice. So let us move on. So we are going to have our AM will be equal to OM. Remember, OM has been given as X or B. And I have my OB as B. So just that OM, if I'm using this, I'm going to have OM is X, OB which is B, then minus A, minus OA which is A. Even if I'm using this, I'll get the same answers because AO is going to be negative OA. So I'll get negative A plus OM which is X OB which is XB. So still you go back and get exactly the same answers. So AM we have finished. This is our answer. AM, that is our answer. Next, want me to find OS. But still OS in terms of A, B, and X. So we see how we're going to get OS. So I want to have here OS. Now still don't stress yourself. First look at the diagram and see. OS can be got using that. Because they are giving us AS, the same thing as SM. Remember we have this one here, that AS equals to SM. So one way of getting OS means you move from O until when you reach S. I can use this option. I can have OA So when I get OA plus AS, I'll be getting the OS. If I get OA plus AS. Another person may say to use OM, because you have OM plus MS. We'll be getting the same answers. So I'm going to move for this. I'm going to move for OA plus AS. So you are seeing that our OS is going to be OA plus AS. Now we see how we are going to obtain this. Remember, you said that AS was equal to SM. So we say that if these are equal, then S is the midpoint of AM. That means that when we look at what we are having here, OA, already we have it as A. Now I have to obtain AS. And my AS, we said AS, since S is a midpoint, it means that AS is going to be a half of AM, because this is a midpoint. So if this distance from here is AM, then if this is a midpoint of AM, then AS is a half of AM. That's what we're going to use. Because still we have, even if you use ratios, we have 1, 1. So this will be 1 out of total ratio, which is going to be 1 plus 1. We get a 2. So we are going to have here that OS is going to be the same thing as having OA, which we have as A, then plus AS, which you have seen is a half of AM. And you have obtained your AM here. That's why I always encourage you that these numbers of vectors, move on part by part. First do part A, go to part B. So you see now here, I've got my AM, but I'm going to use it here in getting AS. I'm going to use it. So there's no way I could jump from, instead of getting part A, which is AM, I go to OS. I'll find some problems here. But if I obtain my AM, then getting AS is going to be very easy. So always most questions of vectors, we set them in a way that you have to, the previous part is helping you to work out the next part. So I encourage you that you should do them in that way. You'll be seeing that there will be ease. You'll find ease in your work compared to when you first jump some parts. You're going to have some more time. Yeah. So let us look at this. We are going to have A, then plus a half of AM. Remember, whether we have AM here as X, B minus A. XB minus A. So what we do still, we are going to try to simplify this. And I've been telling you that you can get the OCM. This is out of 2. This is like out of 1. So the OCM is going to be 2, because this is like out of 1. So I'll be having my OS to be equal to the OCM, which is 2. I said there is a 1 here. The 2 divided by 1, so you'll be having a 2 times A. You get your 2A. Then plus, so when I get 2 divided by 2, you get 1. 2 divided by 2, you get 1. Then that 1 times this, so it's going to remain the same way it has been. So I'll be having XB, then minus A. So just have to add. So this is 2A minus A, because you are collecting like a terms, I end up having an A. So it means that my OS is going to be, so I'm getting the OS here, and I'm saying the OS is going to be the same as I have of A, because we're having A plus XB. So this becomes the OS. So we're having something like that. You have obtained it clearly here, because my OS was OA plus AS. And I'm saying that OA is the same as A, and AS is a half AM. But AM has been got here. That's why I'm putting here XB minus A. We open brackets by getting the OCM. This is 2. That means there is a 1 here. So the LCM of 2 and 1 will be 2. Then 2 divided by 1, we get 2. 2 times A, 2A. Then plus 2, when you have 2 divided by 2, you get 1. 1 times this, you get XB minus A. We are saying that what we do, we add, we look like a terms. So 2A minus A, we get an A plus XB. So that means I'll be getting A plus XB, the whole of it out of 2. So you end up having our OS as a half of A plus XB. B. So that lemma number 1 is done. Then we can look at lemma number 2. They are telling us to find OL and OS in terms of A, B, and Y. So still we get it. We get where they want. So you want us to find OL and OS. So still what you do, you go for OL. After that, you can get OS. So we're going to look at our diagram and what has been given for us to work out that part of OL. We look at the diagram, we have OL. OL can be got, the thing in terms of A, B, and Y. So we're not going to use any root which is involving X. That's what you're going to do here. We are going to get OL in terms of A, B, and Y. So if we look at what we have, our L is here. Our L is here. And they have given us some information that OS equals fill out of 4 of OL. That's what we have. So this one is going to help us to get OS easier. This one we are going to use to get OS. But still we say, depending on what was given, this means that this is 3 to 1. 3 to 1, talked about that. So we see OL is what we need. I can move here. I can use this. And I say if you have, because they also gave us AL is YAB. So that you can also use this to get AL, this distance from here up to here was given. So you just don't even cram anything. Just try to look at the diagram and see which option am I having. One, I can use OA plus AL. I'll be having my OL. OL means that move from O up to L. You try all the possible options. Another one, I can get OB plus BL. But you find that maybe BL might give you a time to get, but they have given that AL equals to YAB. If I use this root, because it's already given to me that AL is YAB, that means I have AL. So just going to use, find that this person is going to use this root here. It's going to complete faster. It's going to do it easily than someone who's going to use OB plus BL. And depending on whatever you use, you get the answer right. But only that one way is going to be, one root is going to be easier than the other. It's going to be easier. So even if you use OA plus AL, it's fine. Even if you use OB plus BL, it's fine. But using OA plus AL is going to be easy, simply because AL was given directly as YAB. So this is given directly. So this root here is going to be easy for me compared to when you use OB plus BL. Because BL you don't have, that means you have to use this one. But why waste time? Yet you can easily get this directly. So we are going to take this root, you get OA plus AL, and I'll be getting my OL. Let us see it here. So we are saying our OL is going to be equal to OA, then plus AL. We're saying these are just vector symbols, and they represent the direction as you see them, the arrow out is pointing. So we come to our OL. We already have the OA is the same thing as A. We have AL, one which is given as YAB. It's given as YAB. But AB we can get it. So we are going to have this as A, Y. This AB is something as OB minus OA. That means that I'll be having OB like this minus OA, coefficient vectors like that. So I end up having my OL as A plus Y into bracket. This is B minus A because they were given. Then it means that my OL, so we want to open brackets, then we collect like terms. It's going to be equal to A plus YB minus YA, like that. So what we can do here, even if we leave it like this step, because we are having Y outside, but again I can put these A's together. It's better A to B to the A's to put them together, even the B remains alone. So I'll be having this A minus YA. Let's organize it here that we can see it clearly. Then plus YB. So it means I can have my OL as here I can put A out. So I'll be having 1 minus y into a then plus y b. So that is my OL. That's my OL. So OL is done. And you have seen that we have used the AL and it has been the shortest route simply because AL was given directly as YAB. So it will be easier for you to use that route compared to somebody who's going to use BL. So that's what you have used here. OL plus AL, then we get that. So we just need to expand here. And I'm saying that I'm putting the A's together, even those having B, they're here. So when you look at this, it's B1 minus the YA plus YB. So that's done. That's our OL. Now, they also want me to find OS. OS in terms of A, Y, and B. But they gave us some information here. Let me show you. We have this, that OS equals to 3 out of 4 of OL. And we have OL. We have obtained OL, so just going to multiply it by 3 out of 4, then we continue and get whatever they want. So they want us to get OS, and we want to use this 3/4 of OL. After getting that, they want us to find values of X and Y. So we'll be seeing that we have got two OS. You are going to have this OS which you have obtained in terms of X up here. And also we are going to obtain another OS. Then we are going to compare those if I'm to get the values of Y and X. Let us do it here. So I'm saying what I'm going to use is what was already given to me in the question, that OS is the same thing as 3 out of 4 of OL. That's what's given. But I already have my OL, so I'll be having 3 out of 4. OL is this one here. It's going to be 1 minus y. So I have 1 minus y into A plus YB. So we'll be having this as our OS. So I continue. I get OS as this has to multiply. So I'll be getting 3 over 4 of 1 minus y into A then plus y. So this one multiplies this, I'll be getting 3y over 4, and this is for B. So this is going to be my other OS. So we have obtained OS here, but also we have another OS, which is up here. Now, what they are saying, they're telling us to find, hence means that you start from where you have stopped. Or we use those things that, vectors that you have obtained. Hence, that's what hence means. Hence means start from where you have stopped. Or use what you have obtained. Then again, to find the values of X and Y. So I'm saying in this case, we have OS, which is in terms of Y. We also have OS, which is in terms of X, A and B, in terms of Y, A and B. We are going to compare. Why? Because the two of them must be equal. They must be the same, since we are getting OS, and for the same number, for the same vector, diagram, or whatever, the same question, so the OS is just expressed in terms of different variables, but it is the same. That means that when you compare the coefficients, you're going to compare the coefficients of OS in terms of A, B, and Y. It must be the same coefficient if you look at OS in terms of A, B, and X. We only use that concept. And there are very many questions that you are going to find in vectors. We are asked to find some unknowns. That's how we do them. You work them out by comparing. You compare the coefficients. But because you have two vectors which are similar, then we just have to compare coefficients. Because if they are similar, it's OS, even if given different variables, they must be equal. And equality comes in by looking at the coefficients. Coefficients, what do we mean? If I talk about a coefficient, it means the number in front. For example, if I have something like this, it's 2, maybe y, I can say the coefficient of y is 2. The number in front of y is 2. Another person can have maybe this is x plus 4, and somebody says find the coefficient of y. So the coefficient of y is going to be x plus 4. This is the coefficient of y. So when we equate here, because some students, they fail these concepts. They obtain OS and OS, they fail to get the values of x and y. Yet that is the simplest. Why they fail that? Because they try to equate vectors themselves. They equate this OS to this OS. Then there it's going to come out and it's going to give you a hard time. It will not come out. So understand that you have to compare coefficients. Coefficients, as simple as that. And let us see how it works. So we're having the two vectors, OS and OS, expressed in different variables. A and B is there, but y and x. So what we do, let us solve above this, then we work out the remaining part. This is a number which comes, and in section B, it takes 12 marks. 12 marks. So look at this. We have this OS, and we have organized it well that we can see the coefficient of A is 3 out of 4 into 1 minus y. And also we have organized this one clearly that the coefficient of B here is 3y out of 4. Now we are going to work out the same thing. I'm going to organize this one in the same way and see how I do it. I'm just going to expand, and I say that OS can be the same thing as, I multiply this I have inside, so I'll be having I have A, then plus I have, or you can say x out of 2 of B. So when you expand like this, means that clearly I can say the coefficient of A is going to be a half, coefficient of B is going to be x out of 2. Now after obtaining the coefficients, we can compare. We equate because they are similar. It's OS, OS. Then it means that the coefficients of A in both vectors must be the same. Coefficients of B also must be the same. That's what we are going to do. So I'm going to say that we compare coefficients. Comparing coefficients. Comparing coefficients. We are going to compare coefficients in this OS and this OS. So I'll pick out this 3 out of 4 from this first OS into y minus y into 1 minus y. This is my coefficient here. And this will be equal to the coefficient of A in this other OS, and this is given by a half. So this will be equal to 1 out of 2. So when you simplify this, you see that what you have as the unknown is only y. It means that when you simplify this, you can get the value of y. Let us do it. So when I work out this, it's the same thing as having 3. So I can expand. I get 3 minus 3y. So it is 3 minus 3y. Then out of 4, this will be equal to 1 out of 2. Here we can cross multiply. That means I'll get 2 multiplying this and 1 multiplying this. But remember, if you cross multiply, you must put brackets. So some of us, we can make a mistake there. So I end up having my 2 into 3 minus 3y. This will be equal to 4. So we are going to simplify this. We get the value of y. And after, we'll move ahead and get the value of x. Let me continue here. But our OS is going to the past. Let me just put it up here. OS, the second one was a half A plus x out of 2b. So I've compared the coefficients in A, and I can be able to get the value of y. So let us expand. 2 times 3, I'll be getting a 6. Or still, if you want, you can still divide by 2 by 2. That means by 2 I get a 1. Let me divide by 2. So we divide both sides. And even if you expand, there's no problem. So you can multiply inside, or you can still divide this side by 2. So this side by 2. The 2 and 2, they cancel out, you get a 1. That means I'll be having 3, this and this will be a 1. 3 minus 3y, this will be equal to 2. So you bring this 3 this side, or you can take the 3y this side. Both of them are okay. So I can take 3y this side, I bring 2 here. That means I'll be having 3 minus 2. This will be equal to 3y. Remember, when you jump equal signs, they change the signs. But see, even if you take this one this side, you get the same answers. So you'll be getting 1. This equals to 3y. So we divide by 3 this side, even by 3 this side. I'll get my y equals to 1/3. That's the value of y. So I have to compare coefficients again in B, and I see how to get the value of x. So we have compared here coefficients in A, and that's what you are getting. You're getting our y as 1/3. Then still, we get coefficients of B. So if you look at B here, it's the same thing as 3y over 4. That's the coefficient. And this will be equal to, we also have coefficient of B in another OS, which was x out of 2. So I'll be having this equals x out of 2. Then it simply means that I can multiply both sides by 2, by 2, by 2. So if you multiply by 2 here, and also by 2 here, so it means that I can get my x will be equal to, I can still divide here by 2, 1, by 2, 2. It's going to be equal to 3 out of 2 y. 3 out of 2 y. So what we have to do, just compare coefficients, as simple as that. And you have obtained the y, you can put it here, you get our x. You have already obtained our y. So it means that when you substitute for y, which is 1/3, I end up having my x as 3 out of 2 times 1/3. And you multiply by 1/3, means that this 3 and this 3 will cancel out. You end up getting x as 1 out of 2. So my value of x is 1/2, and my value of y is 1/3. So that's what we do. So the main concept was on the comparing of the coefficients. I had to look at OS and the other OS, then I compare coefficients. For A, I had to do this, and I simplified. I got my value of y, which is 1/3. And also you compare coefficients. We looked at the coefficients of B, where I got 3y out of 4 from this OS, and I equated it to this formula of B, and the other OS, which is x out of 2. And then I substituted for y, since I already obtained my y here. I end up getting x as 3 out of 2 y, and I get x as 1/2. So that's exactly how we do this, and that's how we do the number. But you see, it takes some good time, and you have to interpret the question clearly. Because if somebody messes up here at this point of interpretation, if I can do a diagram, I can interpret the question to have this. Now this is a summary of everything that has been given to me in words. So I simplify it, I get this, then everything moves on well. Another thing, when you're doing vectors, please follow the instructions. If it's saying in terms of A, B, and X, do that. Because now we have many options. And if I wasn't able to express this OS in terms of A, X, and B, OS in terms of Y, A, and B, that means that the values of X and Y wouldn't have come out. But since I was able to do that, I had to follow the instructions given. Then I'm able to get X, also I'm able to get the value of Y. So we're getting our Y as that and our X as this. So these are vector numbers, and you're going to do some more other numbers. Now we still have some time. So we're going to look at some numbers where now we are given the diagram. They can give you the diagram, and we tried some numbers last time, but you're going to do more numbers when you're given the diagram, and they ask you questions. They ask you some questions. So we can put this down clearly, then we move on. Understand that this is our last lesson on vectors. You have done almost the whole topic, and I'm happy that most of you can do the numbers now. Most of you can. You know? There are those who went back to school and they're in there, but still you find that they said that we are missing. But we can't usually miss. You go to the Facebook page and look for the YouTube page, get these lessons. Yeah, some of you are doing that. In the evening when you come back home, you search for the lessons, you see what was covered. Because you are continuing with us, which is so good. And you're happy because the numbers can now come out. Even those of senior phrase, actually you have given me the morale to go on with the topic because you are following. And this topic is taught in senior phrase. It's taught in senior phrase, so just know that if you're in senior phrase, you're going to do this topic. Senior 2, this is where we are coming. And it's good that some of you have been following. Even topics we are going to do next week, the matrices. Let us follow together, start together, move on together. In fact, there will be no problem. Now let us do some more numbers. They can give us, when we're having some diagrams, we are going to do that. And I know we'll be able to do all the numbers we find concerning the vectors. Because the concept is already given. We know the concepts well. So let us look at some 1 or 2 more questions. So we have this one. That's in the diagram. The diagram here below shows, so we are going to do this, shows a parallelogram. Let's first do this, the diagram below. So we have a lot of questions that we are going to try out together. And I know everything will be okay. Shows now we're having this is a triangle. It's only time that's going to limit us, but you have very many numbers to do. And again, even you as you are trying there, going to do one number. So we're having a diagram below shows a triangle in which you can have vector. So you have vector P2. Vector P2 equals to vector P2 equals to S, comma PR equals to R, 2 Q T equals to 3 TR, and this is PU, saying the ratio of PU to UQ. The ratio of PU to UQ equals to 2 to 3. So we're having our diagram here. This is our triangle. It's given here. So we're having, this is the vector symbols, they represent the direction. So we have P, and again we have our U at this point here. We have our Q here. Lastly, we have the R. But again, on this point R, the other Q, we have the point T. Then you have this vector as R. So we have this vector as S. So this is our question, and we're going to copy it down so that we can do it. And go ahead, find all the numbers on vectors, do them. So we have that. This is point U, it's on P2, this point U, and this is point T on P on or LH2. So they are saying find in terms of R and S terms of R and S, the vectors. Terms of R and S, the vectors. So you have number 1, 2R, number 2, this is 2T. That's part A. And I'm saying in part B, show that PT is parallel to PR. Yeah. So we have this type of question. You have this kind of question. That's what we have. And what you are doing, when you're doing this number, still, we are going to apply all the concepts you have been seeing from the start of vectors, from where we started. Division of a line, look at those principal lines. So finally, this number, somebody who has been following from the start, this will be very easy for you, very easy. Actually, you can just do it and find that you are getting everything right. Because we covered how to show that these are parallel lines, looked at it as a subtopic of its own, collinear we covered. So we find that this will be okay with us. And let us do it. So we are doing this, but again, you understand that the questions cannot end. We have a variety of questions, many questions. So we cannot finish the questions, but at least the concept we have got it here. We have now all the concepts. All the concepts. So I've laid a good foundation for us, so that we can do all numbers on vectors now. What you have to do is go ahead, try the numbers, try numbers, try numbers. Then you'll be seeing that you'll be getting perfect. The more you try numbers, you become good. The more you do numbers, you become good. So that's what you're going to be doing. So let us look at this. They have given the information, the diagram is done for us. In the previous number, we used to draw a diagram on our own, but for this case, it is given already. So we're just going to use it to get what they want. And let's see. The triangle is given, and they're saying vectors P2 here is S, PR is R, we have it, then 2T equals VTR. That means that we are going to use this to obtain some ratios, and let us see it here. So I can get, if they're given us 2T equals to 3TR, so we can divide. I can divide by TR on both sides. So this will be out of TR. Also this can be T. For some of us, we find problems and when you are going to express in terms of ratios. So I'll be having, also you divide by 2. I want to have numbers on one side, letters on the other side. So when you divide here by 2, means that TR here will cancel out, 2 will cancel out. So I'll be having 2T out of TR. This one here, this will be equal to 3 out of 2. So this means that ratio, this can get the ratio of 2T of T to TR here. 2T to TR is going to be equal to 3 to 2. That's what we have. So what happens here, you have to go in a diagram and you express that. I'm very confident that where we are here, most of the numbers you can do. But let us try to simplify this. So you go to the diagram, means that 2T to TR, 2T is here. TR, then that means that it's going to be 2 to 3, 3 to 2. So just put here 2T, TR. So we have that. Again, I give that PU to U2 is 2 to 3. Where is my PU? This is PU to U2. This is going to be 3. Yeah, the question now can be done. After interpreting the ratios so well, what I've done here, everything now is on the diagram. We have moved the information the way it was given here, the way it was given now. Everything that's coming next after that is going to be okay for you. And this is how I want you to do the numbers. First interpret this, get the ratios, put them down in the diagram, do the same thing for this, put it in the diagram. Everything now will be okay. For example, they're asking us to find 2R. 2R means what? It means move from 2 up to R. And there are very many options, but still sometimes one will be easier than the other, or even one will be almost impossible because you'll be missing some of the vectors. 2R means that start from 2. I can't just move like this. I can't because I have nothing here. But I can get 2R as 2P plus PR. So we're going to look at argument number 1, which is 2R. And this will be the same thing as 2P. 2P plus P R. Look at the directions. They matter a lot here. Directions mean a lot. You have to look at them. So if I'm getting 2P, what do you ask yourself, what was given? They gave me P2, which was S. So it means that 2P, you are reversing the direction. That means you have to use a negative here. Because I have P, I want to get 2P, but I was given P2. So if you are getting 2P, it's going to be the same as negative P2. So it means that my 2P is going to be negative S. And when you come to this PR, PR was given as R. So you say plus R. That's my 2R. Even if you want, you can make it to be, you can leave like that, even if you say R minus S. this is the same thing. So that is my chu al. That's how we get the chu al. We just have to look at the diagram and you extract out what is possible or what was given. Next, they want me to obtain chu t. Chu t means that you move from chu until when you go to t. So like we have covered the same thing for this one here to get our chu al. We are going to use the same concept still to get our chu t. Chu t means move from chu until when you go to t. And let us see. I can get it directly. And ask yourself if there any information given directly, it's not there. But still, if you look at this, means that I can get chu t by moving here. You get chu p plus pl plus l t. You can use that because I want to get chu t. You can use that. Chu p plus pl then plus LT. That's enough. Remember that LT is going to be 2 out of 5 of LHU. And when we have LHU is the reverse, is the negative of that. That's what we're going to use, then we get our answers. And I'm very confident. I said that all these things now we can do them. Those who have been following from the start, from when we started vectors up to where we are, you find that you can do everything. Let us just summarize this, then we start next week, we start on the matrices. So I'll be getting my chu t. So I'm just guiding you on what you're going to do. You're going to complete this because time is on our side. We are getting chu p plus pl, then plus lt, because you're getting chu t plus lt. You can use that. Another person can say that since I have my chu r, these are the vectors. If you understand them, you're going to find that there are very many options. Since I have got my chu r, and this chu t is 3 out of 5 of chu r, I can see, and that is going to be very easy. So you're saying that there are very many options, very many. That's why you don't need to cram, but understand the vectors. And I believe those who have been following, when we started up to now, there's no problem. So just look at this chu r. Chu t, I'm going to just, at least this will be easier than this. You get the same answers, but the other one will be easy. So I get my chu t. So I say all chu t will be equal to, you see the portion of chu t is only 3 out of the ratio is going to be 5. So it's going to be 3 over 5 of chu r. That's how we are going to do it. So after this, we are going to put the chu r. Since we already have it, that's going to be an easier way actually compared to this. So this one is better. It's better. Because chu r, you have it, use it here. Why do I need to get again RT? What? Chu r is here, you already have it. So we're going to just substitute it here. Then we are getting 3 out of 5 of chu r. So after that, you're saying so that PT is parallel to PL. This is what you have been doing from the start. What happens is that for you to work out that, you're going to first find PT, find PR. If they are parallel, then their product, you're going to have that when I get PT, it will be equal to a constant of P. Then you say, since this is 2, then they will be parallel vectors, or they will be parallel. And this is what you have been doing for a lot of time. So actually, those who have been following, those who have been with us from the start, there's no problem now on vectors. Vectors, you can do any number you come across. So I'm here by encouraging you that go ahead, find numbers, find questions on these vectors. Do many as possible. You'll find that there will be no problem with vectors. So I continue to encourage you, stay on BBSKATI. Next week, we are starting a new topic, and that is matrices. So tell your friends, senior 2, senior 3, those in senior, all of them, they can now follow the vectors, the matrices, because you're going to start vectors next week. So thank you very much. Awangale Ssaabasajja Kabaka wa Buganda.
bw'osomeseza omwana wo mu masomero ga Janan Schools omuli kampasi y'Ebombo Kalule n'ey'Ekabalagala toba na bweraliikirivu bwonna olw'omusingi okutambuzibwa ebyenjigiriza n'ensoma y'abayizi ey'omulembe. Mu masomero gaffe gano gonna tusomesa arts ne sciences okuviira ddala ku siniya esooka okutuuka ku siniya ey'omukaaga nga tusomesa abaana okuviira ddala ku mutendero gwa kindergarten okutuuka ku kibiina eky'omusanvu. Tulina abasomesa abakugu mu kubangula abaana n'okubateekateeka. Ebibiina abaana mwe basomera eby'omulembe omuli buli kimu ekikwata ku ebyo bye basoma, ebisuula ebyazimbibwa obulungi, ebigazi ate nga biyonjo. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubire ku nnamba z'essimu ez'owammanga.
Baby Junior Jelly mukwano gwaffe alino mukwano ogwa mama muweweevu era yakuma ensusu zaabwe buli kadde. Baby Junior Jelly, baby Junior Jelly mukwano gwaffe.
Baby Junior Jelly ne Baby Junior Soap mukwano gw'abaana bange bwe mmala obbanaza mba sinnabijjayo bato bannaabwe nga baamulese dda. Ekyama anyiriza abeebasa bulungi alina akawoowo akalungi aziza okubutuka okuletebwa diapers mulungi ne ku nsusu z'entondo.
Bikolebwa Movit.
Officer cash boy Covidia, stop it. Don't shake hands, don't hug me. Keep a distance, social distance. Cause I'm the real daddy man, you can call me Don Data. Officer King, it's a kuna matata. You can tweet me, you can zoom me, you can chat me, you can call me. Officer Cash Fire.
AfriCell, connecting communities. AfriCell is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Orange Sky View,
Everything brand new with Orange Sky View.
Orange Sky View, the sky is the limit.
Everything brand new with Orange
Sky View will cool you down under the hot sun.
Everything brand new with Orange Sky
And when you're feeling blue, refresh yourself. Quench your thirst if you're craving for the best. Sky View is your taste.
Refresh yourself with a cool, fantabulous Sky View. Sky View, go extreme. Sky View Orange is a product of the Reham family.
Omuvubuka yenna ayagala okwekumira ku mulembe mu byennyambala nkwanjulira Lucky Fashions. Bano batunda engoye za buli kika ez'omulembe ate nga zirabika bulungi nnyo mu style zonna omuli jeans ne t-shirts, sweater pants ne sweater shirts, emipiira egirabika obulungi ennyo, bling bling omuli chains n'amasaawa, enkofiira za baseball ne caps awamu ne jackets nga kussa ne jumpers omuli n'ebirala bingi nnyo ddala. Era buli lwa Sunday olugoye lwonna lw'ogula tulusalako ebitundu 3 ku buli 100. Ate eri mu abagala okola video ne photoshots tupangisa engoye eri abayimbi n'abantu sekinomu. Mu abasuubuzi n'abakamukamu bano basange mu kibuga wakati ku kizimbe kya Nabukera Arcade Level 3 edduuka L15 nga nammwe abeetoolodde Entebbe Road mutusange ekibuye mu katale Lucky Fashions and Designs. Osobola n'okubakubirako ne bakutuusaako engoye wonna w'oli mu ggwanga ku Note 754 882 27 71. Omuzadde ng'oteekateeka okunoonyeza omwana w'essomero ery'okumubangula mu bintu eby'enjawulo omuli ebyenjigiriza eby'omulembe n'okufuna amagezi ku bintu eby'emikono. Essomero liri mu lyokka Janan Nursery and Primary School erisangibwa Ebombo Kalule. Ffe tulina omusingi gw'ebyenjigiriza ebisookerwako nga tusomesa abaana okuviira ddala ku mutendero gwa kindergarten okutuuka ku kibiina eky'omusanvu. Tulina abasomesa abakugu mu kubangula abaana n'okubateekateeka. Ebibiina abaana mwe basomera eby'omulembe omuli buli kimu ekikwata ku ebyo bye basoma, ebisuula ebyazimbibwa obulungi, ebigazi ate nga biyonjo, kompawundi yaffe nga zibulungi nga n'endabika yayo eyamba omwana okulowooza ku ebyo by'asoma. Abayizi baffe bafuna akadde ak'okusinza mu madiini gaabwe ag'enjawulo. Wano ku Janan ebyokwerinda tuyitwala nga kikulu anti tulina security camera ezisangibwa mu buli kasonda k'essomero. Abayizi baffe baweebwa omukisa okwetaba mu by'emizannyo eby'enjawulo omuli okuwuga, okusamba omupiira, basketball n'okuzannya netball. Tufaayo ku by'obulamu nga tulina eddwaliro erikola okumala essaawa 24. Endiisa y'abaana ezimba emibiri gyabwe n'okubakuma nga balamu. Kati nno gwe omuzadde ekirabo ky'oyinza okwasa omwana wo mu lusoma lw'omwaka 2020 muleete ku Janan Nursery and Primary erisangibwa Ebombo Kalule nga n'okwewandiisa kugenda maaso kati eri abaana b'ekibiina ekisooka. Okumanya ebisingawo tukubire ku nnamba z'essimu ez'owammanga.
Nisa Camel Beauty Soap akoleddwa okuva mu mata g'eŋŋamiya. Ajjudde ebirungo by'obutonde era ng'ayongeddwamu ebirungo ebirungi okuva mu saffron. Nisa Camel Milk Beauty Soap. Ajjamu embalabe, olususu olumyukiridde, binnamakula, enkofu ezireetebwa embalabe ate nga n'agonza olususu lwo n'akuggyako ne mugaba. Nessa Camel Milk Beauty Soap akuwa olususu olunyirira obulungi mu nnaku 15 zokka ng'otandise omukozesa. Takwerusa wabula kuleka mu kkala yo. Nessa Camel Milk Beauty Soap.
Balamusizza bannamawokota naddala bannamawokota w'Amaserengeta. Nze omwana wammwe Kingi Bosa Kenneth Joseph omuweereza wammwe era nkomyewo gye muli nga mbasaba obuwagizi mu kulonda kuno okubindabinda mu mwaka 2021. Mbasaba mumpagire mu kalulu kano ku ky'obubaka bwa Parliament. Kino kye kiseera eky'okusalawo omukulembeze agenda okubalwanirira ku nsonga ezikwata ku muntu wa bulijjo era okunyikiza ensonga ssemasonga eza Buganda. Mu byonna ng'obuweereza buno bw'abantu bonna nga tuyita ku musingi gwe natandikirako mu mwaka 2011 okubeera eddoboozi lyammwe nga nsinziira ku mulamwa ogw'obumu n'enkulaakulana. Ssaabasajja Kabaka awangaale.
BBS, terefayini eyaffe.